In the near future, No Escape, 1994, takes us into a world where the lines between civilization and lawlessness blur, and the most dangerous criminals are left to fend for themselves in a brutal, isolated prison. The movie begins with Captain Ray Liotta's character, Marion Road Cale, a former Marine who has been convicted of a crime he didn't commit. He's transported to a high-security prison located on a remote island, but this is no ordinary prison. It's a place where the inmates are left to roam free, segregated by the society they've built on their own, each group ruling its own territory. Upon arriving, Cale is quickly introduced to the harsh realities of this isolated world, where survival is not guaranteed. The island is divided into two primary factions, those who have managed to carve out some semblance of order and those who thrive in chaos. Cale, reluctant at first, finds himself drawn into a dangerous game of power, as he learns the ropes of his new existence. The first few days are a whirlwind of confusion and violence. Cale becomes aware of a brutal hierarchy where only the strongest survive. He befriends a few other inmates, including a man named Johnny, who explains the island's precarious rules. As the days go on, Cale learns that the island isn't just a prison, it's a testing ground for the most ruthless individuals, a place where the weak either submit or perish. Those who defy the system are often punished in cruel and unforgiving ways. In the midst of this madness, Cale encounters the two primary factions. One is led by the calculating and cold-hearted murderer, Pope, played by Lance Henriksen, who has created a twisted society based on fear and control. The other is led by a rebellious leader, the mysterious and honorable Dassault, who strives to create a more egalitarian society, though even his group has its flaws. Cale is forced to navigate this power struggle, torn between the two leaders, each offering him something different. As tensions rise, the inmate's fragile peace begins to crumble, and Cale finds himself in the midst of an all-out battle for survival. He must use his military training and wit to stay alive while also figuring out how to escape the island. But escape is no simple feat. The island is surrounded by treacherous waters, and the few who attempt to flee are often gunned down by the guards stationed on the perimeter. During his time on the island, Cale develops a deep understanding of the twisted dynamics of his fellow inmates and the moral dilemmas they face. He starts questioning his own role in the chaotic system, grappling with the boundaries between right and wrong. He meets a woman, who is the only ray of hope in an otherwise dark and hopeless world. Together, they begin to form a bond, trying to plot an escape, but it's clear that in this world, trust is hard to come by. The movie reaches a climactic moment when Cale, now fully integrated into the island's struggles, decides to take matters into his own hands. He leads a daring escape attempt, drawing on all the lessons he's learned about survival, leadership, and fighting back against the odds. It's a high-stakes race against time, with Cale risking everything to leave the island and return to civilization, but with a shocking twist in the end that leaves the viewer questioning the true meaning of freedom and justice. As Cale's escape plan unfolds, tensions reach a boiling point. The once fragile alliances on the island begin to fracture as the two factions, Pope's brutal regime and Dassault's rebellion, move toward an inevitable confrontation. Cale, who had been drifting between these two worlds, now finds himself in the position of leading a small group of rebels who have also grown tired of the violence and despair. With Dassault's group struggling to maintain any semblance of order, Cale becomes their unexpected hope, offering them a chance to fight back against Pope's tyrannical rule. In a daring raid on Pope's stronghold, Cale and his newfound allies engage in a fierce battle. It's a fight for control of the island, where everything is at stake: freedom, survival, and power. Cale's military training proves to be invaluable, and he becomes a symbol of resistance, a man who once was a prisoner, now standing against the very system that tried to break him. The bloodshed is intense, with casualties on both sides, but Cale's group manages to make significant headway. Just as it seems like they might be on the cusp of victory, the guards and Pope's loyal followers launch a brutal counterattack, seeking to quell the uprising. In the chaos, Cale makes the decision to push forward with the escape, knowing that the violence of the island is an endless cycle. He begins to rally the remaining survivors, desperate to get them off the island before it's too late. As Cale and his remaining allies make their way through the dense jungles of the island, the environment becomes their greatest challenge. The island, a wild and untamed landscape, offers no mercy. Cale, who had grown accustomed to the brutal human landscape, now faces the even harsher elements of nature, with the suffocating heat, jagged rocks, and unpredictable weather complicating their escape further. The group moves in silence, aware that every step they take might lead to their capture or worse. Cale, once a soldier who fought in organized battles, now leads a ragtag group of survivors through a war of attrition. They are exhausted, mentally and physically, but their resolve keeps them moving forward. Each night, as they huddle under makeshift shelters, Cale reflects on the journey that brought him here, the crime he didn't commit, the life he lost, and the people he never thought he would meet in such dire circumstances. The woman who joined him along the way remains a steady force, a quiet strength that helps anchor the group. Her presence, calm and unwavering, gives Cale something to hold on to in the midst of the chaos. They've shared fleeting moments of connection, but their survival now comes before any personal feelings. Still, there's a bond between them that neither can ignore. In the midst of all the carnage, it's the promise of a better life beyond the horizon that keeps them fighting. The deeper they venture into the island, the more difficult it becomes to avoid detection. Pope's men, relentless in their pursuit, are closing in. They know the island like the back of their hands, and every step Cale takes feels like a countdown to disaster. Yet, despite the odds, Cale remains determined to push on, refusing to let the island claim him as it has so many others before him. One night, as the group rests by a cliffside, Cale is struck with an idea, an unconventional but daring plan to escape. With the help of a few of the more resourceful prisoners, they begin to fashion a raft, using whatever materials they can scrounge together from the wreckage and remnants of the island. It's a desperate and risky plan, but it's the only one they have. Cale understands the risks of such an endeavor. The sea surrounding the island is treacherous, and even if they manage to build the raft, there's no guarantee that they'll survive the journey. Yet, it's the only hope left, and hope is a currency that's growing scarcer by the day. Tensions rise as the group works in secret, knowing that any misstep could spell their undoing. They remain vigilant, aware that Pope's forces are getting closer with every passing hour. The fear of failure hangs over them, but so does the undeniable desire for freedom. Cale becomes more focused, taking the lead in every aspect of the operation, while the rest of the group does their part to keep the plan moving forward. In a twist of fate, a storm begins to roll in, a violent and unpredictable storm that could either be the end of them or their salvation. As the wind picks up and the sky darkens, Cale realizes that the storm could help them cover their escape, providing the cover they need to slip away unnoticed. But the storm also presents a new set of dangers. The waters will be choppy, the winds fierce, and the risk of capsizing high. Yet, as the storm rages, Cale feels a sense of clarity, a sense that this might be the final chance for them to break free. As they move further from the shore, the sound of the island fades into the distance, replaced by the roar of the storm. But the danger isn't over. They are still being pursued, and the storm offers no guarantees. Pope's forces, relentless as ever, are still hot on their trail, and Cale knows that their window of escape is narrowing with each passing moment. The storm could be their only chance, but it could also be their downfall. In the midst of the chaos, Cale's resolve is tested once again. He watches as his fellow escapees struggle against the powerful waves, their strength waning with every passing minute. The journey is grueling, and exhaustion is beginning to take its toll. But they cannot afford to stop. They cannot afford to fail. Cale's mind is filled with flashes of his past, the mistakes, the betrayals, the moments of weakness, but now, in the heart of the storm, he understands that his survival isn't just about escaping the island. It's about proving to himself that he can overcome anything, no matter the cost. As the night wears on, and the storm begins to lose its fury, a glimmer of hope emerges on the horizon. The first sign of calm, the storm's end, finally offers a reprieve. But the battle isn't over. Cale knows that as they near the open sea, a new challenge awaits, one that will test not only their physical endurance but their resolve to escape the horrors of the island. As the storm subsides, Cale's group, exhausted and battered, sees a brief moment of calm on the horizon. The raft, now with a few rips and cracks, holds together against the vast ocean's pull. The night is dark, but the occasional flash of lightning reveals the determined faces of Cale and his fellow escapees. They are close, closer than they've ever been to escaping the horrors of the island, yet the sea feels just as treacherous as the land they left behind. With every stroke, Cale urges them forward, pushing his mind and body to their limits. The storm has tested them all, some have fallen behind, others have nearly given up, but they've made it this far. As the first hints of dawn break through the clouds, the light glistens off the dark waters, casting an eerie glow across the group's weary faces. The promise of freedom, though uncertain, burns brightly. But just as it seems like they might make it, a final surge of waves threatens to break their resolve. The raft tips dangerously, and panic sets in. Cale's heart races as he holds on to the sides of the raft, trying to steady it, but the sea refuses to let go. For a moment, it feels like they're losing everything. Then, with a final, collective push from the group, the raft steadies. The dawnlight now fully breaks through, revealing a distant shoreline, a place they've never seen before. It's not the island they've left behind, but something new, something unknown. Their escape, though filled with hardships, has led them to this moment, a chance at something better. The film closes with Cale and his group making landfall on an unfamiliar shore. The camera lingers on Cale's face, a man who has been through hell and back, his eyes filled with both relief and uncertainty. The journey has been long, but the road ahead is still unknown. They have escaped the island, but what awaits them in the real world is yet to be discovered. If you've enjoyed this story and want to hear more gripping recaps of your favorite films, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We've got plenty more thrilling tales to share, and we wouldn't want you to miss any of them. Hit the notification bell, so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Your support means the world to us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next recap.